Hello, it is the week 4 edition of the Monster Pod here on thelines.com. Joined by Connor Allen, 4 for 4. Cleveland Browns and the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders are 1.5 point favorites at home. 37.5 is our total. Connor, when we last saw the Cleveland Browns, they were not taking the gift that the Giants were trying to hand them. The Giants continued to say, hey, if you really want to win this game, you can. Here you go. We're going to let you try. We're going to let you try. And then Deshaun Watson doesn't have the talent to do that anymore, though he did make a throw that hit a wide receiver directly in the numbers. And, it didn't work out. His only good throw of the game. The Raiders got throttled last time we saw them by the Panthers. So, what do we have in here in this one?
I just didn't understand the Browns game plan last week against a Giants team that, everyone has been like, you can run on us. Like, that's fine. We're going to let 5.5 yards per carry. And they're like, no, we're going to go spread. We're going to, we're going to pass the ball as much as possible with Deshaun Watson without David Njoku. Like, to me, I was just like, what is going on here? And so I think it's not a matter of it's a matter of when Deshaun Watson gets benched at this point.
Yeah.
It could be here. If they play horrible here, he has to get benched. This has to be it. Because the Raiders are not a good defense. Max Crosby looks, questionable at best, hasn't barely been practicing. And that's the only lifeline of this defense.
Right.
And so without that, I really struggle to see how this Raiders team can slow them down. But at the same time, this is almost another, stoppable force, movable object, game here. And so it's one of those things where I want to play the Browns because I think they're the far, far better team, but I just have such little confidence in the Browns doing anything, remotely, optimal from an offensive perspective here. There's a million ways they can win the game, and I'm sure they're going to find the one way to not do it.
Yeah, I'm with you. It was just the offensive line was compromised last week. It was anyway, and they just allowed they kept calling pass over and over and over again, allowed Deshaun Watson to get pressured every single friggin' drop back, and he doesn't handle pressure very well at all. He looks like he's never played football before whenever he gets pressured and starts running around in circles and stuff. Steven, I came into the season wanting to give the Browns the benefit of the doubt and just saying okay, look, now there's no excuses. There's no rust angle here. You got the offensive line. You brought in another weapon for him, all the different stuff like that. And nothing has materialized with this team at all. I think he is a bottom half quarterback, if not a bottom 10 quarterback at this point.
Keep going. Keep going.
And it wouldn't surprise me if the Raiders won this game. We go holy shit, I can't believe the Raiders beat them by 13 points in this game. But it's I've seen nothing from the Browns offense other than Amari Cooper making a couple of toe tap catches in the game last week that has inspired any confidence whatsoever.
Okay, so first of all, let's do the offensive line update for the Browns here, because Conklin back-to-back DMPs at tackle. The other tackle, Wills, back-to-back DMPs. Batonio, the guard, back-to-back limited. Another guard, Cohen, back-to-back limited. We haven't even gotten to Myles Garrett, who's got 3 injuries on the injury report and went from DMP to limited. And Njoku, who the hell knows if he's playing?
But you heard what Garrett said, right? An injured animal is the most dangerous animal. Is what he said.
No, those are the ones that get eaten, dude.
Yeah,
have you never watched the Discovery Channel?
I know. I wanted to be no, man. The slow gazelle's the one that gets eaten, bro. No, man. He's not dangerous at all. His ass is getting killed. No, that's not what's going on.
But, I'm not going to tell Myles Garrett that. If you want to tell him that, you
I will not personally tell him.
Yeah, I'll say it here in my remote studio where he doesn't know where I live.
Mr. Garrett, if you are listening to this podcast, I'm sorry. Apologies in advance. Please don't destroy me.
It's not your fault, Miles, that you have a weirdo at quarterback and a bad offensive line or an injured offensive line. Anyway, one of the easiest bets I made this week, honestly. Raiders. We got it plus 1.5 very early in the week. I think, anything under 3 here, I'd still be fine with the Raiders, to be honest with you. Connor, you said you think Watson's going to get benched at some point here. I don't disagree with you. I hope he never gets benched, man. One of the worst bets I made coming into the year was Browns to win the division at plus 550. Because I just thought it was a crazy number after the job Stefanski did last year, but made it all back last week with that ridiculous spread of Giants +6 and 2-1 money line. Like I'm good on that future now, man. I hope he never gets benched because, like, I'll say it again, as each lawsuit piles up, his metrics go down. Like, he's in the Zach Wilson category now since 2022 with how bad he's been, and he's got no offensive line helping him in front of him. So, the Raiders are just going to be like this Jekyll and Hyde team, right? Like, they're going to be terrible some weeks, and they're going to have a pulse because they do have talented players with Devontae Adams and Brock Bowers, Jacoby Myers. We'll see about Max Crosby, whether he plays this week. But
look, the team rallied around Antonio Pierce to get the job, and so they gave it to him. But he's in over his head, dude. Like, he's in over his head. He's making horrible in-game decisions, and like that's basically what is holding this Raiders team back from being at least like mediocre. Like, they could be this team where we would look at week in, week out, and go, you know what? They're like just middle of the pack, right? Like, take it or leave it or whatever. But like, I have to downgrade him a little bit because Pierce just can't handle the in-game stuff.
Right. But you're not asking me now, like last week, you were asking me to bet on the Raiders to win by 5 or more points, which is ludicrous. Now you're just asking me to beat one of the worst quarterbacks in the league, one of the worst offensive lines in the league. So I signed up for it. I'm good. And it is narrative street, but I like the players' responses to, Pierce calling them out. They said we got to be the ones that like hold people accountable as well. So I like hearing that. I think that having worked in an NFL locker room, I do think that matters. And I've seen teams and players work better that following week when there is accountability amongst the players and not just the coach calling them out in front of the media.
Yeah, you were working in the locker room, Stephen, but you were washing their jock straps. So I mean, like, I don't, I mean, like, what did you really learn when you were in there doing that?
Every job has dignity, man. Every job has dignity.
Guys, as always, everything we do absolutely free. So please hit that subscribe button. Do appreciate you hanging out. Give us a thumbs up. Let us know in the comment section what game stood out to you. What did we miss? What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? Let's be frank. You're only going to put what you disagree with in there. That's fine. Just tell us what you disagree with and like tell us that we're idiots and all that. We'll go in. We'll read them for sure. Don't think Steven doesn't go back in the comments because we made a clean sweep on Thursday night when everyone was calling us idiots. And Steven went in there and did a little poking of the bear. So like, it's just a little poking of the bear. Just a little poking of the bear in that. And of course, if you have not already, go in, check out all the great work Connor and company are doing over at 4 for 4. It is literally not only sports betting, but great fantasy stuff, DFS stuff, and great projection systems that you're going to want to use in your process. So be sure and put that to play over there for Connor. For Steven, I'm Matt. Good luck on all your week 4 bets.